Hey guys, what is going on? It is Wizard101 Guides Studios, and we are bringing you the next episode for September of School Wars. This is probably going to be one of my absolute favorite ones, and it's actually more of a rare one, I would say. It's not something you would just think of like fire versus ice, or storm versus myth, or life versus death. This one's actually balance versus death, and I'm actually really excited to get into this one. Obviously, I was going to originally do for this episode death versus life, because we've already done like all the opposite schools, right? Well, this one's a little bit special. I wanted to mix it up just a tad by throwing in balance into the mix, so hopefully balance school will balance things out a little bit, and we'll get to life later on. I actually have a good idea for which school I'm going to have go up against life. If you can actually guess it in the comments below, then you guys are pretty freaking smart. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into this one. So I wasn't really sure which level to do for this one, because we've done level 50 and level 40 already for the last two episodes, but this one, I always feel like level 50 is a good base as to how to do things, but this time I'm actually going to try and mix it up just a little bit here. I'd really like to do level 70 balance versus 70 life. Now that one could be difficult to pull off, just because personally I don't think I have a 70 life. I think the closest thing I have to it is 77, so I might have to go with an 80 balance. I don't know, it's kind of hard to say right now. So in this episode we're either gonna do 70 or 80. I'll just say 70 right now, just to kind of get a base understanding of it. In fact, I could probably do like a 71 balance versus a 77 life. That's fair enough, maybe, but we'll go ahead and see what we have here. So let's go ahead and start off. So as we can see right here, we have all of our balance spells. Obviously we're gonna end up being somewhere around here in this section. So we can see that if we go for level 70 balance, we're gonna have all of these spells here, and we're gonna have almost all of these. Where are we at? Level 70. Okay, so 72, I guess we can consider that. We'll say, like, we'll just base off of the 72. Okay, we'll say that. So you have mana burn right here. So the target's going to take 80 damage per pip, which is basically like Tempest, kind of, in that situation where it used to be Tempest. But they also lose 3 pips. So that can be pretty strong in PvP, if I'm not going to lie. That's probably going to be one of my favorite PvP spells. I was actually one of the first people to ever have it, and I had it through this cool wand that I had on one of my balance characters. And I was using that at like level 30 or 25 or something. It was freaking awesome in PvP, because at level 30, when you're PvPing, 3 pips is a lot of pips to take away. So I don't know, at level 72 it doesn't seem like it's that big of a deal, but that is kind of, it's a factor in what's going to happen. So obviously we have some of the best spells up here, like Judgment is going to be a big factor in dealing damage. You have 100 damage per pip, and we have a full set of power pips. That's going to unleash a beast on death. And keep in mind, you guys, balance does have many pros, such as there's no actual shield to defend from them, so the only one that you could defend with is a tower shield. So balance can get out there and they can knock in a solid hit against Death School, and Death School just really can't do anything about it unless they trained up to tower shields, but you can't use tower shields because you're Death School. So I feel like Death is going to get a royal beating if this person decides to use Judgment, which I definitely would. And then let's see what else we have that's kind of important in here. Obviously Power Nova is going to be semi-important here. It's not that much damage. In fact, it's more important to use this on hitting multiple targets, but just the fact that it does give you a weakness on top of the attack, that itself can actually be pretty beneficial. It's 7 pips, so say they use up all 7 pips, they get in a solid hit, right? Now that's going to do some damage, obviously. If Death School has good resistance, then they're going to have a tough time there. But let's just say that Death was just about to attack. Oops, well, now you have a weakness and your Death attack's going to be kind of weak. And don't ever think that balance can't heal, because we have Availing Hands here, 70 plus 70, 780 over 3 rounds, so they can't get their heals in. Hurrah obviously is pretty powerful, but it's, again, only for mostly hitting all enemies. And then we have Shimera, which, well, everybody says it differently. Some people say Chimera, I've seen on YouTube, but I just always have said Shimera. And then they're going to deal different amounts. So obviously if you're Death School, you're going to have a lot of life and death resistance. Probably not so much as myth, but there are a lot of myth, clothing that it's like death and myth resistance. Either way, you're going to have a lot of resistance on all 3 of these categories, so they'd be more beneficial if this attack was elemental. But you know, at the end of the day, it's not going to make that much of a difference. So it's your level 68 spell, and I feel like that's going to play a pretty big factor, because you're going to be hit with all 3 of these, and if you don't have resistance in each of these 3 categories, it's going to rack up some damage. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the death sides of things. So I just want to start off here by saying the Death School has a significant advantage with the fact that almost all of its hits are going to be giving itself. They're going to be healing themselves back from a hit. That's obviously Death School's advantage in almost every category. Every school has their advantage, right? Storm deals tons of damage, Life does tons of healing, Death does average hits with average healing back in return, so in return that is a pretty good benefit. But let's go ahead and see what they do have that's going to give them a significant advantage. Right away here we can see that, you know, their 72 spell is Mass Infection. Is that going to be that important? Honestly, I'm going to go ahead and say no. It's more beneficial just to use Infection. So in the 72 spell category, definitely Mana Burn on the balance side is going to be a bigger win. So I like to compare it level to level to kind of see. And then we set our level 68 spell. Okay, we have Dr. Vaughn's Monster. That one itself, 820 damage from the target, and then you're going to get half back to health, and then 25% to the next going, or negative 25% to the next outgoing spell to the target. So basically, that person who just gets hit, they're going to get a whopping 820 damage hit on top of them, as well as this person's going to get healed, and they can't heal as much. They're going to get a negative heal effect, so they're really screwed after they get the hit. But keep in mind that this level 68 spell, it's only 820 damage, as opposed to, where is it at? 340 plus 340 plus 340, so that's, you know, that's well over 820 over here. So the balance spell is actually going to do more damage, but that's it. That's it. Over here, the death person is going to get healing, and the balance person is going to lose a little bit of healing when they go to heal, and that's especially important when they use Availing Hands too. So that's a pretty sketchy one. So bringing it down to level 58, we do have Skeletal Dragon, which is obviously a really key death PvP component. You're gonna stack up blades, and you're gonna hit, you know, 200 on your first hit, and then that 810 over 3 rounds is just gonna demolish. That is a killer, especially when you think to the fact that balance is gonna be, you know, kind of lacking a defense in that situation. But the only way I can see balance having a significant advantage in that scenario is that they stack up on the spiritual blades. That is a key factor. Keep this in mind, you guys. The death person cannot really defend against a balance attack, right? So when they use Judgment, you know, that's game over. That's almost game over. How are they going to defend from that? They really can't. They have to hope that the other person, the balance person, uses some other attack than Judgment, which would use maybe drain half their damage, and then this person would have to stack up with Dr. Vaughn's Monster, which would in turn, you know, give them some health back and also deal some damage on the balance person. So with that being said, honestly, I would have to pick that balance would come out with the win in this episode. Obviously, we're all gonna have different opinions. I don't even know my sister's opinion yet. I just kind of made this one on my own here, but I want to know what you guys think. So obviously, the winner below, who has the best description as to who they think would win and why, is gonna get a prize at the end. So whoever describes it the best and why they think they're gonna win, and they have to get it right when the episode actually comes out, when there's a real winner, that person is going to get a prize. So go ahead and be very descriptive when you pick which side is gonna win, and maybe you guys will win the prize. Don't copy each other's answers. I've seen that a couple times. You know, actually, like, think in detail. You know, talk about the stuff I talked about a little bit, that death can't really defend, but they also get some health back. So at the end of the day, I feel like at this level it becomes more diverse. There's a lot of different scenarios you can do to play it. And I'm thinking of maybe having like a little collaboration with a couple other Wizard101 YouTubers to see if they have any characters that could participate in this episode. But other than that, you guys let me know, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Give this one a big thumbs up, and look forward to the future episode.